did a little poll. You know what I'm saying? I put this one in here because I had already did a poll and asked hella guys and girls who you feel like gets more comfortable in a relationship, men or women. And I think the total it was 9-7 men, I believe is what the total was. So 9 people said men, 7 people said women. Mel, any?
I say women because
Yes, I agree.
we are like, we got our guy. We're not really trying to look for somebody else. We're very loyal. I feel like in my family we're more loyal, and so I feel like girls are definitely more comfortable. We're like, oh, we're thinking about marriage. We're thinking about kids. Like, as soon as we like get it, like as soon as we're official, we're like, oh, marriage, kids. So I feel like girls are definitely more comfortable because a guy's not really thinking about marriage. Like they're not trying to think about weddings and marriage. So,
So true.
So it's like they're not as comfortable. So
that's a good point. I mean,
I understand.
Siri, you wildin'.
I know.
No, I agree with you. I think I said women. I was on the side of the women. I think women get real comfortable once they get the dude that they feel like meets their criteria. It's like, oh, I got the dude that I want. And if there's little things y'all need to fix, like you are okay with that. I feel like a guy, like, I don't know, like you said, we don't really be thinking about long term like that. So it's really no like, oh, I'm about to marry her and this and this and that, you know.
Yeah,
it's more like
much later.
I feel like guys are like always looking for like the next best thing, or like they're hunters.
True.
Like,
very true.
Yeah.
What are you saying, Harris?
No, I was saying, the bench, the backups.
This motherfucker said the bench.
It's like, no, I'm capping. I'm just talking shit.
He doesn't.
I don't believe in that life. No, I for real don't believe in that lifestyle.
That's
you do
funny.
make a really good point though, because I do feel like
the
moment that like a girl gets into a relationship, she's all for it. She's 100% for it. But I feel like a lot of guys, they kind of take their time to get to that point.
They're not as more open. Girls are more open.
Yeah.
You know what's
weird? I feel like you gotta guard yourself a little bit.
Yes, as a lady. Oh my God, please guard yourself.
I have to do. Yeah, I'm such an open, like, I'm an open book. Yeah, I need to be a little more pessimistic.
You already know.
I'm very like classy, like yay, like I like to talk. So.
Yeah, Mel. Oh shit!
Contact information can found below.
Yo, stop trying to put her out here, man. You know what I'm saying? She's
information out here. No.
Yeah, don't put her out here, man. But to one of y'all's points, I forget who made it because I'm drunk. But what I will say is, I do think women are built from the jump to think like this is the fairy tale and this is that and this is how it's supposed to go. And men is kind of more like go with the flow. Like, I hate to say it, this might not be, a lot of people might not agree with this, but if you think about like the history of your dad and your mom, like your dad at the end of the day was just like an average nigga and he was just trying to get with your mom and like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
damn nigga.
Like, shit, bro, like, I'm just saying, bro, like, I'm not saying that's everybody's situation, but if you think about it, like the guy is, especially back then, bro, the guy was chasing the girl. Girls was not shooting a shot with guys back then. They were not shooting their shot, bro. So your dad. I mean, y'all love him, but I'm just saying, like, he was, you know what I'm saying? Like, he got with the pretty girl that he liked, and boom, made a great family. That's amazing. That's beautiful. But
you have a good point.
Well, see, look, I can speak on this shit because I don't rock with my dad. So, like, I speak about it so freely. Y'all probably felt a little bit differently. I know, y'all got your dads around, so it's different. But for me, my dad seeing a nice young lady working in a great little office job. It's like, yo, like, what's up? You know what I'm saying? I get it now.
Yeah.
I'm older now. I get it. But I wouldn't handle it the same way he handled it. But I'm saying, like, you know what I'm saying? So
it's true. It's just a tough pill to swallow,
It's a tough pill to swallow. And I think more importantly, like, I feel like dudes, like, I feel like guys don't get. I feel like me. Okay, I'm gonna speak for me right now. I don't get comfortable because I don't fully trust people like that. Like it's hard for me
Yeah.
to I think women are willing to trust you once you've like shown little things. Like you know what I'm saying. Like, and then once you've done that, they're like, all right, you know what? I trust you.
Trust you, yeah.
Exactly. So it's like me knowing that I don't trust nobody because I'm like, you can show me anything you want to show me to make me believe.
Yeah.
So, but I love that. Like I said, I love the optimism from the ladies, man. We need that. Don't y'all ever change that. And when women start getting pessimistic, like Meg the Stallion is actually probably one of the people I feel like Meg would treat me like she was a nigga and I was a bitch. You know what I'm saying? And I would be like, what am I supposed to do with this? She over here drinking Douce like me. Like, what the fuck?
Meg is a savage, man, but I love it.
Bro, Meg's a savage. She on a different level, man. Houston girls just out of this world. But all right, man. Let's go to the next topic. I feel like we covered that joint. Oh shit, I gotta share my screen with y'all. I want to play a little bit of music though. For real, bro. Yeah, I'm drunk. Rappers BMs. Know what I'm saying? How y'all feel about it?
It's nasty out here for them.
All right, yeah, you go. Run with it.
What you say? What?
That's so trashy. Like you're supposed to be setting an example for your kids.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna see you acting a fool on Shade Room
when they get older. Yep. That shit not going away.
It's not cute. It's not cute at all. No.
So let me ask you this: it's not classy, right? Not only is it not classy though, you should never be arguing over no dick. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. Like
agree.
I'm not going to argue over pussy. I'm not. I will say this, though. If it's a girl that I care about a lot, you might see me do some very uncharacteristic thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, get out of, just do a lot of crazy shit. And I think maybe girls get in that space. But I think y'all girls be fighting over dick that's community dick. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all fighting over, like.
Or we don't know, or you'd never know if it is or not.
But hold on, Mel. But listen to this though. Future, I always go back to Future because I feel like this is like he's just such an example for so many different things. He is community dick to the public.
Yes.
And you have girls like Lori Harvey who come from millions and millions who like
she can have anyone she wants. And
she can have anybody she wants, and she would community date. I'm not trying to stop that. I support wherever the love is. I love that. But I'm just saying, I don't know if that, like, how does that even make sense? Like, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense to me. I don't even know. Like, what is it about Future? Like, all these baby mamas, oh, he's my child, then get paternity test. Like, no, like, you, like, just keep that private. Like, we all know he's something's going on.
But it's very profitable right now. I feel like that's what drives it. It's very profitable.
Yes.
Because like the last baby mama that came to the forefront when they did the whole DNA test court and all that, she was talking about, this is my meal ticket. I think I saw like the screenshots that said, this is my meal ticket. This is how I'm gonna eat for the. I saw it somewhere. I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
That's disgusting. That's so disgusting.
Not verbatim, but like she said something along the lines like, this is how I'm about to start eating.
The child is the one that's gonna suffer in the
big
end.
time.
Nobody's thinking about. That's what I said. A hoe is. You're not thinking about the child. You're not thinking about none of the shit in the future.
No conscience. Yeah.
That shit is sad, man.
But go ahead, Harris. Go.
I think it's really nasty. Like, because in this past week, I've seen a lot of like baby moms just wilding on Instagram. Like, 6ix9ine. I hate to mention his name, but 6ix9ine's 6ix9ine's baby mama, like, she's getting flown out to like music videos and shit just to piss him off, and she's going with it.
I hate that.
We had
I hate that so
21
much.
Savage's baby mama just breaking his windows, keying his Porsche. Like, it's just wild times out here. I don't know what would get you upset to the point to just start doing all that stuff and embarrassing yourself. I feel like they don't have an understanding of what their relationship is or what it was. They're just confused at this point.
There's a lot of fake relationships out in the yeah, it's like publicity, like getting like the money, marketing. It's like it all works hand in hand.
It's profitable right now. It makes you a lot of money.
Everyone's on their phones. It's like we just need drama to keep our days going.
Right. I mean,
So you
as
feel
much as I
like,
hate to see it, I love to see it on my timeline.
yes,
Makes me appreciate my life.
I need the entertainment because I'm not doing it. So you motherfuckers get out there and make a fool of yourself. But what y'all think about like people doing shit like that? Like, you know what I'm saying? To me, it sounds like deals. You know what I'm saying? Like people signing up. For instance, let's go off of Future. Let's go on to another nigga. NBA YoungBoy, to me, is the prime example of a hoe. Nigga not thinking about no type of future, ain't thinking about, no pun intended, ain't thinking about nothing with these bitches but fucking you and keeping it moving. But he's gonna go in you raw and do whatever. But you would still let him. So like I don't understand the woman like thought process. I don't get it.
From young boy's perspective, he's really young.
He is. No,
He's
bro.
young.
He hasn't lived life. Yeah, no.
Exactly.
Like, yeah. I agree.
So
but I'm
he's
saying from the
young.
girl's perspective.
Yeah.
From the girl's perspective, fucking with young boy.
Why? I mean, unless it's just for money, then I would. That's the only reason I could. That's the only reason I could come up with, because it's like, why? Like, why would you want to put yourself in that situation? But that's the only reason. Money, and they want to get child support and baby mamas.
And it's like you signing up. It's like a contract. It's literally like a baby mother contract. It's like, yo, I'm gonna sign up to be your baby mom for 18 years.
It's the whole baby mama movement out here. Like,
It's bad. It's bad.
18 years is a long time.
Bro, 18 years is a great
That's a
contract. I'm not
long
gonna hold
time,
you.
man.
These girls is low key thinking 18. They're like 18 years. This,
Yeah.
sure. Why not?
Because if you find the
not?
right one, like they're getting maybe like some of them are getting like, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month.
Blake Griffin's baby mother, I think he said she's getting $23,000 a month.
That's ridiculous, man.
Just imagine.
I don't think that's the highest, man.
I mean, that's sad, bro. But I don't even want to put out numbers and do all that. I'm just saying it's very tasteless of you ladies to do shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
The guys gotta be held responsible too.
I agree. Hold on. I don't want to shit on the ladies. I don't want to shit on. I don't want to shit on the niggas, or excuse me. I don't want to shit on the ladies too much. The niggas do need to be held responsible. Y'all are disgusting because y'all are just basically asking for any sort of like sexual STD to be transmitted to you. You know what I'm saying?
Here's how I feel about the whole child support thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if, number one, you're a father who wants to be in your child's life, right? Wants to take care of them, wants to be with them, you know, you can split the time however you want to split it. If you're willing to be in your child's life, you want to be in your child's life, you're going to buy your child whatever, you're going to pay your child school fees. Why is it that if I want to do that, I still have to pay you money to support the child? But when it comes to like dudes that don't want to do anything, who are just like, you know, they nut and then they run,
right?
Definitely, you know, garnish your wages, get into their pockets. But if you're willing to be there for the child, I feel like that should not be held over your head. Because a lot of women do that. They'll hold that child support over your head, even though you want to be in the child's life and just do it the right way and co-parent, you know?
Yeah. Most of the time, it's just because they don't have nothing going on for themselves or like any income. They're not working. They're not trying to work. So.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
That's so bad. I cannot imagine being in that position, man.
You'd be helpless.
That's crazy, man.
So, black market share. So I did some research prior to this. Let me pull that up. But basically, what I wanted to, you know, where my direction with this was going is we need to understand as a black community that we do have a stake in the market share. And when I say market share, I mean, you know, a portion of the market. You know, it's either controlled by a certain company or a product, but in the grand scheme of things, you know, black business has a percentage of the market share. So it is not huge either. So I did a little research, and apparently, you know, these numbers don't surprise me, but data from the Small Business Administration indicates that just over 19 million businesses, or 70.9% of all U.S. businesses, are white owned. Blacks own about 2.6 million businesses, or 9.5%. And Latinos own 3.3, or 3.3 million businesses, or 12.2%. So if you look at that, I mean, if these numbers are accurate and if this source is credible, and I believe I got this from Forbes. I mean, black people own less percentage of businesses than Latinos. But by a little bit, about 3%, 2%. But the point is with that, I mean, we still have a piece of the market. Of course, it's nowhere near. I mean, white people have 70%. They have over half of the market share. So it's going to be difficult to find. That's why it is. That's why I said that directory is so important, because it's difficult to find where can I even put my money into black business when all I know is white owned businesses. But I think it's important to know we do have roughly, I think I said 10% of the market share. So it's important that we 9.5%. So you want to make sure that's on your mind, and just understand that that's important. Now what we have to do is add to that. So back to one of your points is like, not just being a consumer, because like you said, we are huge consumers. Let's now actually build our own, so now we can push our products and services out into the market, and that gives us more leverage in this situation.
I think that's a good point. I think we got to start to think about one, how, like you said, how do we expand into certain areas of the market, right? Because there's certain areas of the market, right, in general, that we've always had a pretty good hold in, right? So there have always been a lot of black businesses that specialize in insurance, right? Or a lot of black businesses focused on hair, right? These have been things, even like music labels, like record labels and things like that. These have always been black owned businesses. So one, we need to figure out, what have we been doing well that has kept us relevant for this long? And how do we expand businesses in those industries? And then it's also about why is it that we've sort of targeted these industries? And is there a way for us to look at other industries that we're not as heavy in, right? I mean, whether it's tech or retail, right? Like, how do we sort of get back into those businesses? Because, I mean, we used to be a lot more spread out, I think. I mean, there were way more, when I think about retail, there were so many black apparel companies, and, I think, and we're still pretty spread out, but I just think it's about, how do we spread out again? How do we sort of get into those other markets again, so that number goes up, and so that we own a larger portion of the market? Because you'll find, I mean, any business will look at that. At some point, you look at the market you're in and you say, okay, is there an opportunity for me to get more customers in this segment? Can I get more people to buy my product or service in this area? If not, then you've got to look at other segments. You got to say, okay, how do I expand into these other areas? What's something else that I need to be doing? What does my business need to focus on, so that I can touch a whole new customer base? Because maybe as black people, we're spending all the money we can in insurance, all the money we can on black, hair salons and black barbershops, and we're spending all the money we can at black record labels. So now it's like, all right, well, we got to figure out how we can get our money to be spent in other areas where maybe we're not right now. So I think it's just keeping that balance across all different industries. And not being afraid to attack those industries, because sometimes we may think, oh, well, there's a huge player in e-commerce, I'm not going to try to compete, or whatever it may be. And so, it's something for us to consider.
No, I think you bodied that segment by yourself. I agree with everything you said. I don't really have anything to add to it. I think you hit it head on. I just feel like you do have to start asking yourself those questions. How do we get into certain markets? And it's difficult to enter into certain markets, certain areas. We just by on paper numbers, there may not be that many black people there. So like whatever your product is, it might not really tailor or serve that our community, but you can find a way to integrate it, and I think that's also another thing. Sometimes, we're very prideful people, and we should be, it was a lot for us to even get to where we're at right now. But sometimes we can put some of the pride away to partner with other as opposed to feeling like that you need to come to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
because that mentality will always, not always, but a lot of times it'll run people off, scare people away from working with you, scare people from investing in your business. You know,
Yeah.
if they view you as someone who's a little reluctant or like very strong-willed, it's like, oh no, you're not going to listen. You don't really have any middle. It's either up here with you or it's nothing at all. So, you know,
Yeah.
but in terms of market share, we got to look at those numbers, and we got to look at, okay, well, you know, if it's Latinos, African Americans, and then white people, and on that list we're last, when we need to start figuring out like why, you know. And of course there's more, there's a lot, it just in terms of numbers, there's a lot more of others than us, but
Yeah.
you still have to ask yourself, like, you know, because we have the tools in front of us sometimes.
Yeah.
Some people have it more accessible than others, but we can make things happen for us if we really put our minds to it. So I definitely think that Black businesses can flourish. But my biggest takeaway from this episode, for me, is support. Is something that I can't stress enough. I already know, just based off, you know, we have products for our brand, but I don't even like push that to that degree or market that. I'm just more so pushing a movement and like a way of thinking, and just kind of just that type of energy. And, you know, it's hard to get people to support you in that aspect. So it becomes harder and harder for support from just people in general once you start asking them for, you know, financial, you know, gain.
Yes.
It just becomes a little more difficult. But I don't want to discourage anybody who does have something like it. I saw someone post the other day, you know, that they were tired of like making their prices lower or having people come to them, ask them to charge less or try to work something out less. It's like, my price point is my price point. I'm not going less than this. This is what my service is worth. And if you can't afford it, then that's okay. But like you said, quality is important.
Right, bro. And I think it'll become easier to support too as we start to spread out, right? Because it's like, too many times as Black people, we don't want to go where we haven't gone before, right? We're looking to start a business that's similar to a business that another Black person has started. Or we're looking to do a job, work somewhere where another Black person has worked. But now have to get into the mindset of going into, even with real estate, going into neighborhoods where we've never been.
Yeah.
Going into jobs where we've never worked. Starting businesses that we've never started before, because it's a lot easier to support when we're spread out, right? Because it's unrealistic for me. You know, it's like, if I know 10 Black carpenters, right? I probably, in reality, I'm probably only going to spend my money on one, right? Which I only need one.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, right, if I know a Black carpenter, I know somebody that's you know, they're a Black, they do TVs, or they do, you know, they make mattresses, and they're in all these different spaces. It's a lot easier for me to spread my dollar around. But as a people, we have to get in the habit of being able to say, you know what, like, I don't know anybody that started this curtain business. I don't know any Black-owned curtain company, but I'm going to be the first person to start it. And then me, as a Black consumer, I can say, you know what, you have my dollar. Because this is just an area I was already going to get credit. I was already going to spend money in this area. And even if I wasn't, it's not like, you know, I'm just piling money. I'm supporting 10 people in the same space. So I think that's a message I just want to give, is just like, don't be afraid to go where no one's gone before, even from a job perspective, right? Like, too many times we're like asking our friends, like, you know, oh, have you worked there before? What's the culture like?
Right.
It's important, right? But like, the culture at all these jobs is all, you know, let's be honest, right? Sometimes it's not great. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to Visa because, I didn't know any Black people at Visa when I went. I went there because I'm trying to open the door for the next group of Black people to step into that door, right? That's what I'm doing right now. I just got off the phone with somebody. I'm helping him get through a case so he can get hired at this company, right? Because that's what we need to be doing, right? Whether it's real estate, starting a business, what have you. So I just think that's something we gotta think about. right?
No.
Spread our wings, because it's a
Spread
huge
your
market.
wings. Yeah.
It's a huge market. There's tons of real estate. You can go anywhere. You don't have to look at certain neighborhoods. You ain't got to look at certain jobs, certain
For sure.
spread out.
Yes, sir. No, I agree. Knocked it right on the head. I agree with everything you just said right there. Ain't too much more to add right there, man. All right, I think we got one more. I think it's actually two, but I know the two, so if we don't land on it, I'll just go to it on the side. Oh shoot, I gotta share my screen. Damn it. See this thing, man. And now this shit is messing up. Oh, can I exit out? See, I look like an old man right now trying to figure out, how do you work the
That's me every day in quarantine, working from home.
How do you work the Skype call?
Literally, I'm like, am I on mute? Can y'all hear me?
Can everyone hear me?
It's crazy.
Oh man. Oh, we already did that one. All right, let's see. I give it two more, and then we got let's see if we get it. We got what is entrepreneurship. We're not about to get it, but we can do value of your data, because I don't think we did that one, and I know that was something that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I do want to talk about it. So want to start with just value of data.
Yeah, we can start with that, then do what is entrepreneurship, and then we can wrap it up.
Cool. Yeah. So I wanted to talk about data because when we think about our value as people to the economy, it's always been focused on our money, as it should be. But now in this world of technology, right, where these big companies like Facebook, Apple, Amazon, they're all focused on our data, our information.
Yeah.
We have to be aware of the fact that the data that we carry is so valuable. I mean, companies are paying so much money just to know, what are you interested in? Where are you going to shop?
Yep.
Where are you going to click on the screen? All kinds of things, right?
Yep.
So it's now about, how do we get to a point where we can make money off of our data? And I'm saying this not because it's not like something we can do right now, but I was actually working with a startup. It's this lady starting it up, but basically it's a company that is going to be focused on making sure that it's Black owned, making sure that Black people can profit off of their data when it comes to larger businesses. So I'll send you the information for that. But this is like the new wave, man. It's your data is going to be like your dollar, bro. It's literally going to be valuable. It's already valuable. I mean, damn, bro. When I'm thinking about all the companies that make money off me on Instagram, all the shit I've ordered from just tapping a button.
They know that they're inside. It's like they're in here. They like, hey man, there's this technology shit, and just like you said, data. I mean, your data is just as valuable as a dollar. I mean, at this point, I mean, and it's like, it's now being exchanged and sold. You know what I mean? Like, your data is being sold. It's a weird concept to think of, but that's what it is. And that's why, social media has always been, I've been kind of hesitant to embrace it, because I don't know. I just always felt like that's too much to give to eyes and bigger companies that are looking into this shit and trying to figure out, just on a surface level, social media is a lot to give to people that you don't know, followers and people you follow and things like that. Just people around your way that you don't know. But then on a bigger level, you got massive corporations trying to figure out, all right, like, let's buy their data and then, figure out how we can market to them, and we'll put this ad on their screen, and of course they'll like it because they've tapped this 20 million times in the last 30 days. All these fucking algorithms and number. I mean, the shit is different, man. So it's important, like you said, the value of your data is very important. Trying to figure, I think that company that you just said, that the Black-owned company that the woman is starting, I think that's very interesting, because I mean, this data world is a little, it's not new, but in terms of it being so valuable to companies, I think it's now becoming more profitable because of social media, and because social media's presence is so heavy. So I would definitely be interested in her company just to see, you know, how do you, because I don't know how to leverage my data just yet. You know, I'm not really sure. I know how to try to protect it as much as possible, but I'm not quite sure how to leverage it. So I think from what you said, I mean, the sounds of her company, it sounds pretty interesting to me.
Yeah, man. I mean, and that's the big thing too. It's like she's thinking about, because the thing is, these companies, not only do they get your data, but they get it so quickly, right? Like, I mean, you hop on your phone, you put in some information, and they have it without you even realizing how much data you've actually exposed. And so I think it's about how do we sort of get to the people and get their data so that it works for them before these big companies get to it. And they start profiting off of it. And maybe if we get to the people fast enough, to consumers fast enough, we can make sure that everybody is profiting from that data. So it's, I mean, man, and it's just like, you just don't even realize sometimes how easy it is to just expose certain information. I mean, people tell me all the time, because I just post things on my Instagram. Yeah. I've had people DM me like, "Oh, you can't post that. That guy's got this guy's email on that email, or you're posting somebody's name and it's private." And I'm not even conscious of it, right? Because I'm just going through my day to day. But it's something I'm trying to get better at, because it's just like, man, you don't even realize all the things we sign into, all the things we watch, literally down to like where you click on a screen. I mean, literally is getting collected. So, and it's making people a ton of money off you and off others. So
it's
a
lot of money, man. And it's like, if you think about all the freaking logins you have to create and put your birthday and your name, your last name, and you know, I know, you know, my mom in particular, she's very against like putting in like birthday, full name and stuff like that, because it's like, what do you need all that information for? You know, like, you know, I might put, so, you know, she's always said that to me, and I've never really thought about, I mean, I've thought about it after she said it, but it's interesting, like, you know. And so I know that our parents' generation feels a different type of way about that type. So our generation, we're very easy to just be like, oh yeah, let's just sign up, you know, just
literally
put my information,
put our name in, address, email,
email. They know everything about you. They got, man. Literally. So I mean, it's different. So I mean, I definitely think valuing your data is just as important as valuing the dollar that we spoke about earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. We got this last one, I believe. I think this is the last one I want to talk about, I will say. But what I got? Okay. Entrepreneurship. So I want to talk about this because I feel like this means different things to different people. My definition and understanding of entrepreneurship is, you know, you own or you've created a business, and you know, whether it's a product or a service or both, you have created something. It's under your name. The license, the patents, the trademarks, the everything's registered to you, or maybe even, you know, a business partner of yours or two. But it is something that you've created nonetheless, and you've now created it, and it's profitable too. I mean, you don't have to be profitable to be an entrepreneur, but you know, you've created a business that's now profitable, and you know, it's yours at the end of the day. I think a lot of people don't understand, like, and that's why I said ownership is like super key in understanding, because I think a lot of people look at it like, oh, you know, and I'm not trying to pinpoint anyone in particular, but if you're on YouTube and you're a YouTuber, you might feel as though like you're your own boss and you have your own operating rhythm, and you don't have to wake up at this time and be at this meeting and this and that. But you do have to understand, YouTube makes a percentage off of you. So you are, you know, you're making money for someone else essentially. I mean, you know, and if you own your own business, you know, that money is yours. Now you do pay taxes at the end of the day, but you know, as an entrepreneur, that's your business. So, like all the profit that comes in, you see, and then you pay people and, your employees that work for you and so on and so forth. But I think people just have a weird concept of entrepreneurship in this time. Like, just being, whether you're a brand ambassador, you're a YouTuber, even if you're a rapper and you're not independent, I mean, you're on a label, so it's like a lot of things are painted to be like, I'm my own boss and I do this and I do that, but you still have to follow an agenda that someone else has created for you, and they still get a percentage out of what you make. So I just think, it's important to understand what it means to be an entrepreneur. And I think that all ties into Black awareness too, because I think we are so prideful as a people. Like, we want to be known as the entrepreneur or the one that made their own business and got it from the ground up and didn't need anybody and this and that. And it's so super important. It's not even super important. That's a hell of an accomplishment, to make something from nothing and you didn't have much support and help. But you do have to understand what that means. And the last thing I'll say on this, the actual definition that I looked up for entrepreneurship is the activity of setting up a business or businesses, taking on financial risk in hope of profit. So, I just want everybody to understand understand what it means to actually be an entrepreneur, as opposed to kind of just branding yourself as that. I think we see a lot of that now.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Financial risk is really important. I mean, that's what entrepreneurship is, right? So like, if there is no financial investment, then I would be careful to call it entrepreneurship. So if I present, an idea to my company and they take it and run with it, but they invest in the idea, not me,
right,
then I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm just passing off an idea. But if I have an idea and I have invested finances into growing this idea, I'm the owner of the idea, right? And then on top of that, there's a risk that I could lose my funds pursuing this idea. Then I'm an entrepreneur. So
I agree 1,000%.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely like this culture. I see so much this war of like people trying to be entrepreneurs, and you got some people that are like anti-corporate, and you got some people that are corporate anti-entrepreneur. It's like, it's nuts, right?
It's a weird time. It's
a very weird time. But I think the thing with entrepreneurship is you have 100%. I mean, starting out, you have 100% of the equity in your company. So if your company takes off, you have a great idea, you're the man, right? Or the woman, right? You're it. So I think that's something something to keep in mind. But there's so many ways to start your own business, right? You could, and we just got to keep that in mind, right? Because you could start a business, you could buy a business, you could invest. If you own more than 50% of a business, then
you're the majority owner. Yeah.
Even if you're just a shareholder and you don't own more than 50%, you're still an owner. You're not an entrepreneur.
You're an owner. Yeah.
You're an owner. You're not an entrepreneur. But when it comes to
owner,
talk about Black-owned business, right? Then, well, if I own more than 50% of a company, then that's probably a Black-owned business. Even if I'm a shareholder, it's not a Black-owned business, but I'm a Black person that's
invested in this company.
Business, right? So so it's something to think about. And then people usually don't even consider buying an already established business with operations. You buy a Chick-fil-A, that's now a Black-owned Chick-fil-A.
I've been telling anyone who knows me, I mean, the amount of Chick-fil-A I eat, I should already own one of them. But no, I've always wanted to buy. Yeah, man. I mean, I've always said I would love to buy, but like you said, just buying, it don't even have to be Chick-fil-A, but I've always personally said I would love to do that. But it's just the concept of buying an operation that's already, it's running great. You don't have to, all that startup cost shit that we're talking about, none of that applies to you. You do now take on other, risk and things, but ideally that's what you want to do. You want to be able to have enough capital and enough money to come in and say, hey, look, and enough leverage to be like, look, I want to buy this, make this a a franchise or whatever the case might be. And now you don't really have to worry about all of the things that I was saying earlier in terms of startup cost and having to charge people certain price. All of this stuff is already set. I mean, you can alter it, to a certain degree, but all of this stuff is already set. So that's really where your head should be. To your point, you should really just want to be looking to purchase something that's already running itself.
Yeah, exactly. We gotta expand our horizons when we talk about Black-owned business and Black ownership, right? Because it's like we don't just want to think about it as like you have to start an idea and take it from A to Z, right? Like Black ownership is, look, buy real estate, or Black ownership is invest your money. There's so many different ways to start to get that ownership. And now control is different. I will say that. And when you're an entrepreneur, you have a different level of control, which is definitely something I think everybody should be chasing. And then the level below, I think having that level of, even if you don't have the control, being invested, having some ownership in a company like Amazon, or even if you start small with an Apple, or, buying stock or whatever it is, man. I mean, I think that's so important.
I agree.
That could take us far.
Yes, sir, man. Right. Let's get it. So yeah, real estate knowledge in the Black community. So let me stop sharing really quick. So this was a topic that was a little more near and dear to me because I think it's important to have an understanding of, what real estate and just what ownership with property means for Black people. Even if you just think back how many kids you've gone to school with, and they were probably, white kids who would say, oh, we're going down to our beach house this summer, right? Or like my cousin or my uncle's got this house in such and such, or this ranch here. Like there's so many things, like there's so many like historical things that you don't realize that have just passed down the family line that Black people aren't even, like that's not even a part of our heritage. We aren't really passed down land like that, So just thinking on it, you're so far removed from like the understanding of how important it is to own property. So it's something as simple as, oh yeah, me and the kid, me and my family are going down to such and such beach where my grandfather's beach house is. Like something as small as that. Like there's a lot of money and importance behind that property at that beach, so I think real estate is something that, one, I don't really think you're ever taught that. Like when I look back at school, like I don't think real estate has ever been a focal point. I think that real estate is something you have to kind of want to inquire about and go out and seek knowledge on your own. So, I wanted to bring it up here, and you're a perfect person for that because, you recently just entered the real estate game. So congratulations. And I think that you can shed light on, how important it is to actually own property and what you can do with that. And then not only owning it, but owning it in the right areas too. So this way it's more valuable. So yeah, you can go ahead and shed some light on that, man.
Yeah. So when I think about real estate, simply put, for a lot of Americans, it's your largest asset, right? A lot of people put the majority of their money, whether it's through a loan or whatever, into a home. And so when you look at historically in the country, there have been so many things put in place, whether it's redlining, different tactics that loan officers have had to make sure that we don't get approved for certain amounts of credit and that sort of thing. All of those things sort of have played into today's wealth gap. When we talk about this gap between white power, white spending power, and Black, wealth, a lot of that comes down to real estate. And I think that's why now it's so important, especially for those of us in the position, to make sure that we're buying good assets, assets that are either going to appreciate, bring us cash flow. Some people do fix and flip. I mean, there's different ways to make money off of it. But just seeing is how much of a large asset it is. I just think it's so important that we, we take that on really, really as a people. And, there've been so many tactics. I mean, like I said, and even today, I see where there are different things that both agents and other people, right, in the community, things that people do to sort of keep us in certain neighborhoods, right, confined to certain places. But when you look at how those neighborhoods are treated, whether from a police standpoint, whether from just in general tax system, education system, all kinds of things,
right.
I think it's now important for us to look at our neighborhoods that we've been sort of segregated into and figure out, one, how are we going to improve these neighborhoods?
Yep.
Two, how are we going to, quote unquote, buy back the block, right? Because you've got white people that have moved into neighborhoods that we were in. Now we've been pushed out into other neighborhoods. How do we get back into those neighborhoods since they're hot? And we kind of have to spread out now, man. We got to spread out. You know, I don't think we should be moving as a people to a place where we're sort of like segregated into certain communities and certain neighborhoods. Right. We got to spread out, because that's the thing. As we've seen with white people, when it comes to gentrification, they'll come on our block, they'll walk their dog outside,
run, skateboard, all of that.
Yeah, they'll be in the hood acting like,
like nothing's going on. Yeah, unbothered.
But, right. And unfortunately, with black people, sometimes we get to a neighborhood that has a certain, number of white people, and we feel uncomfortable. And that really does affect our wealth, right?
True.
Because at the end of the day, unfortunately, there's so many different cultures, so many different people that have a lot of spending power. We want to make sure our assets are valuable to everybody. So I'm all for spreading out, investing in our communities, and doing more to get our block back. Buy it back. Buy back the block.
Seriously, man. I'm that. I know that people say buy back the block, and it's kind of like it's kind of like, you're play on words, or kind of just like sarcastic but serious at the same time. But seriously, we do have to buy it back. And not only, like, I think one of the points that you made that I want to touch on was, you'll have, that we see a bunch of gentrification in the DMV area, for instance, and all over. But since we live in the DMV area, you see it a lot. And to your point, you'll see white people in a very rough neighborhood to us, or in a not the safest of places to us, but you'll see them there, and it's like completely unfazed, like no worries, like everything is just cool. It's cordial. It's like you're in the suburbs. So it's and then to your point, we'll go live in like a gated community, or like a suburb or something like that, and we'll feel very uncomfortable and not want to be ourselves, because then we'll get looked at a certain type of way, and then we'll get stereotyped and things of that nature. And I think that plays into the whole segregating of, like what you said, is when Black people are looking to buy a home, and you've got the real estate agent maybe like thinking like, this is where I envision you, like this is where I feel like you would fit in. And it then kind of just puts everyone in one box. And then as a Black person, you start, you might start feeling like, oh yeah, I feel comfortable here. I see people that look like me. I feel like this would be better than me being around a bunch of white people. But I think we gotta, to your point, we got to go back and realize, like, those neighborhoods that are completely fucked up and just don't really have much value now. I mean, the whole, like, when you look at just gentrification as a whole, it's going into a terrible neighborhood and buying, buying out what was currently there and then building it into something, very, very expensive. So it's like, we got to have that mindset of like, all right, instead of buying all these material things, we could just go back. I mean, because we do have a lot of spending power, that's the thing. Like, Black people have worked their way into a space where we could spend with very, rich white people. And I think if we actually strategically did it, we could get in a space where we could buy back those communities and make them better. Because, if there's no funding going into these areas, the school, like you said, redlining, the school systems are terrible. They don't have much funding in the school, in the education or anything like that. Then now it's on us, to a certain degree, to see what we can do so that we can better it. Because it'll only stay there as long as we don't do something, and as long as they see it as not valuable. Like if you see a
Yes.
bad neighborhood and kids not passing and crime, and there's no need, there's no incentive there to be like, oh yeah, let's go in there and fix that from the white perspective. But the black people, we're more in touch with that, with that neighborhood, that community, those people. So those with money and influence, you got to come in and create, some sort of environment where it's like, all right, let's revamp this whole entire situation.
Yep. I 100% agree with you. And I'll also add that we have to remember that we make these areas hot, right? It's just like with spending, right? Like when we buy certain clothes, we make it hot. You buy designer, now it's a whole bunch of other cultures looking to rock that designer brand, whatever it is. It's the same thing with housing, right? Like look at the Wharf, right? I mean, we've been living over by the Wharf for years, right?
Forever.
And so it's like now you see gentrification, they name it the Wharf, right? Or U Street, right? I mean, U Street's another example, right? There's so many areas in DC that black people have always been on. So U Street has always been U Street.
For sure.
But the difference is we made it hot, and now it's a valuable area to be in.
Right.
And we have to make sure we don't just get kicked out, and we really do own our block.
It's important.
And we don't let anybody move us out of there. And so, I think that's going to be the next big thing for us. It'll be something to think about, and I'm trying to attack it. That's why I started doing real estate.
For entrepreneurship. So I want to talk about this because I feel like this means different things to different people. My definition and understanding of entrepreneurship is, you own or you've created a business, and, whether it's a product or service or both, you have created something. It's under your name. The license, the patents, the trademarks, the everything's registered to you, or maybe even a business partner of yours or two. But it is something that you've created nonetheless, and you've now created it, and it's profitable too. I mean, you don't have to be profitable to be an entrepreneur, but you've created a business that's now profitable, and it's yours at the end of the day. I think a lot of people don't understand, like, and that's why I said ownership is like super key in understanding, because I think a lot of people look at it like, oh, and I'm not trying to pinpoint anyone in particular, but if you're on YouTube and you're a YouTuber, you might feel as though like you're your own boss and you have your own operating rhythm, and you don't have to wake up at this time and be at this meeting and this and that. But you do have to understand, YouTube makes a percentage off of you. So you are, you're making money for someone else, essentially. I mean, and if you own your own business, that money is yours. Now, you do pay taxes at the end of the day, but, as an entrepreneur, that's your business. So, like all the profit that comes in, you see, and then you pay people and, your employees that work for you, and so on and so forth. But I think people just have a weird concept of entrepreneurship in this time. Like, just being, whether you're a brand ambassador, you're a YouTuber, even if you're a rapper and you're not independent, I mean, you're on a label, so it's like a lot of things are painted to be like, I'm my own boss and I do this and I do that, but you still have to follow an agenda that someone else has created for you, and they still get a percentage out of what you make. So I just think, it's important to understand what it means to be an entrepreneur. And I think that all ties into Black awareness too, because I think we are so prideful as a people. Like, we want to be known as the entrepreneur, or the one that made their own business and got it from the ground up and didn't need anybody and this and that. And it's so super important. It's not even super important. That's a hell of an accomplishment, to make something from nothing and you didn't have much support and help. But you do have to understand what that means. And the last thing I'll say on this, the actual definition that I looked up for entrepreneurship is the activity of setting up a business or businesses, taking on financial risk in hope of profit. So, I just want everybody to understand understand what it means to actually be an entrepreneur, as opposed to kind of just branding yourself as that. I think we see a lot of that now.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Financial risk is really important. I mean, that's what entrepreneurship is, right? So like, if there is no financial investment, then I would be careful to call it entrepreneurship. So if I present, an idea to my company and they take it and run with it, but they invest in the idea, not me,
Right.
then I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm just passing off an idea. But if I have an idea and I have
Correct.
invested finances into growing this idea,
Correct.
I'm the owner of the idea, right? And then on
Yes.
top of that, there's a risk that I could lose my funds pursuing this idea. Then I'm an entrepreneur. So
I agree 1000%.
yeah, I mean, there's definitely like this culture. I see so much this war of like people trying to be entrepreneurs, and you got some people that are like anti-corporate, and you got some people that are corporate anti-entrepreneur. It's like, it's nuts, right?
It's a weird time. It's
a very weird time. But I think the thing with entrepreneurship is you have 100%. I mean, starting out, you have 100% of the equity in your company. So if your company takes off, you have a great idea, you're the man, right? Or the woman, right? You're it. So I think that's something something to keep in mind. But there's so many ways to start your own business, right? You could,
right.
And we just got to keep that in mind, right? Because you could start a business, you could buy a business, you could invest. If you own more than 50% of a business, then
you're the majority
owner.
Yeah.
Even if you're just a shareholder and you don't own more than 50%, you're still an owner. You're not an entrepreneur.
You're an owner. Yeah.
You're an owner. You're not an entrepreneur. But
yes.
when it comes to
owner.
Talk about Black-owned business, right? Then, well, if I own more than 50% of a company, then yeah, that's probably a Black-owned business. Even if I'm a shareholder, it's not a Black-owned business, but I'm a Black person that's
invested in this company.
Business, right? So yeah, so it's something to think about. And then people usually don't even consider buying an already established business with operations. You buy a Chick-fil-A, that's now a Black-owned Chick-fil-A.
I've been telling anyone who knows me, I mean, the amount of Chick-fil-A I eat, I should already own one of them. But no, I've always wanted to buy. Yeah, man. I mean, I've always said I would love to buy, but like you said, just buying, it don't even have to be Chick-fil-A, but I've always personally said I would love to do that. But it's the concept of buying an operation that's already, it's running great. You don't have to, all that startup cost shit that we're talking about, none of that applies to you. You know, you do now take on other, risk and things, but ideally that's what you want to do. You want to be able to have enough capital and enough money to come in and say, hey, look, and enough leverage to be like, look, I want to buy this, make this a franchise or whatever the case might be. And now you don't really have to worry about all of the things that I was saying earlier in terms of startup cost and having to charge people certain price. All of this stuff is already set. I mean, you can alter it, to a certain degree, but all of this stuff is already set. So that's really where your head should be. To your point, you should really just want to be looking to purchase something that's already running itself.
Yeah, exactly. We gotta expand our horizons when we talk about Black-owned business and Black ownership, right? Because it's like, we don't just want to think about it as like you have to start an idea and take it from A to Z, right? Like, Black ownership is, look, buy real estate, or Black ownership is invest your money. There's so many different ways to start to get that ownership. And now control is different. I will say that. And when you're an entrepreneur, you have a different level of control, which is definitely something I think everybody should be chasing. And then the level below, I think having that level of, even if you don't have the control, being invested, having some ownership in a company like Amazon, or even if it starts small with an Apple, or buying stock or whatever it is, man. I mean, I think that's so important.
I agree.
That could take us far.
Yes, sir, man. It's gonna be, what separates y'all's fashion line or clothing line from others. So if you care to speak to that, you can. But I think already we kind of touched on a little bit of it. Like, you're already thinking, the foresight is there, and then also just having the multiple different logos is just always gonna kind of you know, is going to give you like somewhat of an advantage to kind of play with different styles and whatnot.
Right. Yeah. Now, I definitely think we're both students of the game pretty much. We done followed, you know, the Supremes, the Kifs, the Stussies, all that kind of stuff. So we've seen them kind of grow and where they've gone. And then, you know, we want to take our own little twist to it. So we definitely want to be in the streetwear industry. I think sometimes people push streetwear and luxury, and you can do both definitely. But I think when you try to do luxury, your competition, you're competing with the Gucci's and all that kind of stuff, and that's not where we are. We're not really trying to compete.
Okay.
With that. I think the streetwear is where we want to be. I love that culture. We kind of grew up in that culture.
Yes, sir.
I think the limitedness part, you know, like it's a program. You know, when Supreme drops every Thursday at 11, it's programmed. That's where we want to eventually get it to where we have our set day. You know, like, and especially with the limited quantities, you know, it's for special people, for flawed people, everyone, you know, we all got flaws, but that quantity, I want you to feel unique when you're wearing our stuff. So everyone's not going to have it. So that's definitely something we took, and we definitely want to stick to that. And then just the uniqueness, we're going to challenge ourselves each time to come out with different ideas. So once something's gone, it's gone. So it's like, I missed out on this shirt. It's like, got to get the next one, you know, because
yeah, that's a good approach.
Black crowd, yeah.
I like that. So do you think that, you know, with the limited quantity approach, like that's a good approach, honestly. Do you think that's going to get people more, like the anticipation for it is gonna grow? Cause it's like, oh, like, you know, I have to, if I don't do it, if I don't get it now, then I won't get it, you know? Like, do you think that approach is gonna get you more, you know, clientele and get you more attention?
I think that's gonna get us more just off the fact that people want what they can't have, right? So if you see something that you could have had, but now you can't, it's like, damn, I'll make sure for the next time I'm going to have that.
For sure.
We kind of want to build that buzz, build anticipation. I bet it's going to bring us more clientele. Of course, we're going to have limited numbers, so it might single some people out. Right. If you come and you're a real supporter, you're going to have it.
Yeah, you're going to have it for sure. Yeah, that's a good approach. Honestly, I think that the way the business, like streetwear and then luxury, like, or just fashion, like I feel like do you feel like to a certain degree Kanye has created like a hybrid of streetwear and, like, you know, fashion, like he's bridged that gap?
Yeah, definitely. I think high fashion streetwear is a real thing. Like, right. I think, you know, it's bridge. You see so many different brands now doing different stuff, where you got Virgil working with Nike and doing stuff like that. You know, where it's cool to just wear Nike with whatever his design is, off-white, and you just have that with a check on it and you're good to go. So I think it's kind of finding the mix. You know, the celebrities are the athletes these days. You know what I'm saying? So
seriously.
Yeah. So
because that Instagram shit is a monster, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? You follow your favorite athlete and you just, you know, you checking to see what they got on.
Shout out League Fits.
Yeah, man, they be wow, man. PJ Tucker, man, shout out to you, man. If this comes across you, dog, like you be killing it. Like that nigga is just, I mean, it's funny too. Like I be looking at certain fits, like niggas now like really rock the short shorts. You know what I'm saying? Like that used to be old, like Wilt Chamberlain. You know what I'm saying? Like niggas had the baggy short when Bron first came in the league. It was like a baggy short type of thing. Now wearing short shorts way above the kneecap. I'm like, wow, like that's crazy. But to your point, I do think that streetwear is now it's kind of getting merged in there with high fashion, and I think that's dope, honestly, because at the end of the day, high fashion at the end of the day is just it's you associate the price with the brand name. You know what I'm saying? Gucci is this. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like your shit could be, you could price it at that, and if someone determines that your shit is that valuable, they're gonna buy it. Like, so there really is no, you know, to me, there's no like, oh, this is higher fashion than the other. Like at the end of the day, it's all a price. At the end of the day, Dolce & Gabbana, all of this shit, Balenciaga, niggas is gonna set the price because they know the demand is there. They know niggas is gonna buy it regardless.
Exactly.
All right, let me get into my next question, man. If you guys could partner up with one person in the fashion world, who would it be? Besides Kanye, if that's what you was gonna say, because I feel like we talked about him enough. So if it was somebody else, who would you partner up with and why?
I feel like Virgil. Like, even though Virgil has, like, he went out kind of sad this summer with the $50 donation, all that, like, you know, feel me? But yeah, now that was ugly for him. But
yeah, it was.
Anybody in the fashion world, I think Virgil. I feel like he's really versatile. Seeing him with Louis Vuitton, seeing him with Nike, seeing him with anything, which is just by himself.
Okay.
It's fire.
True.
So
True. And he's black, you know what I'm saying? So like, you know, I rather put the money where in the black community or with the black person than anything at this point. But okay, so Virgil, but why? Like, what about him makes you so attracted to working with him?
I feel like Virgil, let's keep it like Virgil really started from like real life the bottom out. We really like watched Virgil's process as he kept elevating and elevating and elevating himself.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like he kind of started where we're starting at right now with like just a dream. Not like we real life watched him elevate himself to a point where now he's the creative director for Louis Vuitton.
Right.
And it's like, dang, like that's everyone's in the fashion world's biggest dream right there, to be like a huge high fashion
True.
like creative director.
True. So his grind and his story pretty much is like very parallel and just similar to y'all. So that would make you want to work with him because you feel like he could. Do you feel like, this is a side note, but do you feel like when people finally get to that spot that you were saying, like where they aim to be, they start to forget where they came from and they no longer are as relatable as they once were?
I could definitely see that with a lot of people, but I feel like you gotta kind of have to like segregate that. Do we want to, when we get to the top level, do we still want to have the same mindset that we had when we was down below?
Right.
You know, and if that's the question, then you don't want to have the same mindset. But
Right.
do you want to change your whole persona? You know what I mean? As you elevate? No, because if people gonna call you fake, people gonna say you're Hollywood. So
Right.
definitely keep true to your values and who you are. When you get the money, you get that check, you get that dream job.
Mm-hmm.
But still understand you do have to elevate your mindset.
That's a fact. The reason I ask that is because, like, you know, even just, you know, work, whether you have your own multimedia brand or you have a clothing brand or you have a podcast or you have a whatever it may be, when you want to start networking and partnering with somebody, you know, that's made it, you want them to understand like your vision or see where you coming from. But I feel like I feel like a lot of times it's hard for people to even come back down to that reality of where we're at, because because once you made it into those rooms, into those conversations, a lot of the things that we talking about aren't even on your radar until we bring it to you. So, you know, there's plenty of people who probably want to work with Virgil, and it's unfortunate because, like, realistically, he might not even have the time or like the financial ability to put all his money in all these companies that want to work with him, which is unfortunate. But I do think it's important for people to still stay level grounded and remember where you came from, because there's somebody out there with the same vision that you once had. So, you know, the goal is for me, like, when things elevate and everything starts to get exposed and people see what, you know, what the brand is about and what the purpose is for, you can buy into it at some way, whether it's financially, whether it's you just emotionally connecting with it, whether it's you, whatever. It doesn't have to be, you know, always financial. But I really do hope that, you know, people are not getting too above themselves to the point where you're not trying to reach out. Because, like, I take Griselda, for instance. I don't know if y'all niggas listen to Griselda, but they do this thing where they, like, it's like a cipher for rappers, and it's like, if like any rapper, like, you basically rap and then, you know, Benny will DM you. Actually, Tay, Benny DM'd Zay about it. I don't know if he followed up, but like, he basically said, yo, I heard your shit, let's work. And that's dope. You know what I'm saying? Just like, imagine if Virgil hits you and is like, yo, let's, like, I seen your pay, like, let's work. Like, that would be dope. It shows me you're still in touch. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically what I just hope for, because I feel like people get a little too above themselves at times.
That's facts.
All right. So my next question for y'all, well, we kind of talked about uniqueness, but what do you, in terms of strategy for separating yourselves from the rest of the competition, if you even view it as that, what's the approach to kind of, you know, be different and just have a different purpose?
Right. So I think a lot of it is just not overthinking stuff, overcomplicating things. I think at the end of the day, it's just clothes. You know, the materials we use definitely can separate us from other brands, because you definitely feel the quality in the material. But we're going to try different materials from time to time. So it might work here, it might not work there. Everyone has different preferences. I know, like with the oversized shirts, everyone's not a fan. You know, it was finding the right size for you, etc. Some people like more tight fitting stuff, you know. So I thought this was like a safe bet going, because when you think about flaws, you know, a big flaw is body types. And I feel like this, you know, kind of hides different body types. You know, if you want to hide something, perfect for bigger people, you know, smaller people, skinnier people, not necessarily, but if you downsize, you're good. You get more of that standard fit, but it's kind of more of a comfortable fit, you know? So I think that's going to be just one of the big things. Building that family is something that we really got to work on. And I think that's what separates us, that community, you know, who our following is. If you build that loyal following, the people that feel like they're your actual family, you'll be good. You know, you look back to like when people were camping out for, whether it's, I'm just use Supreme, Kith, all those kind of brands. Like when they first started, you could walk in there, you know, before they got major, you know, and just chilling there all day, you know, that kind of family, you know, the hundreds, that kind of stuff, where it was just chill. You had a street with just a bunch of different streetwear brands, and kids would just hang out there. You know, we want that kind of, you know, eventually, you know, if a storefront happens, you don't necessarily need them now, but I kind of want a place where people could just chill. You know, the youth, you can teach people how to, you know, create their own stuff. So if you connect with the youth, you connect with, you know, the flawed is what we're calling them now, but we'll be good. So I think that's just where we got to lock in. The clothes, I don't necessarily worry about that. It's just building those relationships.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Do you look at a following at like, do you want that? Would you rather have the cult like following or like, you know, true fan, like, because you know how there's hives now, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you got the Future hive, you know, Beyonce, things of those nature, Kanye. But would you rather have that or just like, you know, just passionate fans? I think there's a difference. I don't know if y'all feel that way, but I definitely know there's some people who will, in those hives, that will go to extreme lengths to, you know, support their brand or their person. So I just want to know, like, how do y'all feel about that as you gain attention and attraction?
I feel like we probably don't want that cult feel, but we do want people who are going to go hard for us. We do want people who are going to go hard for this message, who are going to be able to pass this message along, you know? So I feel like you said a little earlier, social media is a whole different beast. And it really is. Social media could take your business to heights you never thought you could get to. So I feel like us, starting right here, right now, we trying to like experiment and see which sort of marketing really works, whether it's emails, but do people still check their emails? Who really knows? Whether it's social media like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And I feel like that's where that's pretty much where our demographic of age is. They're all on social media. They're checking that every second. So it's kind of like staying on top of that and making sure that they stay consistent with that message.
Okay. I think it's a thin line between passionate fans and like the cult like following, like, you know, because I think you could be super passionate about something that you get carried away with the emotion, but you could also be a rational person and say, you know what, I love these dudes, you know, that they got caught up in a scandal. I'm not just going to say fuck it, just because I love them. And it's like, oh, well, I love Tay and Meech's clothing line and their purpose, but I heard they got caught up in this. So, but I'm still going hard for them. Like, I feel like the passionate is scary because you tread a thin line, because the cult like following, you know, though people will go to extreme lengths to say anything and support anything that somebody does that they feel that passionate about. So, you know, but that's important. I agree. Like, because social media, you know, I mean, I have different feelings about social media. You know, I struggle with it, me personally, you know, because although I run a podcast and I have a multimedia brand that I'm trying to build, I'm not very social media savvy. Like, I don't really do things to show other people. Like, I like to live in the moment. I like to, so it's hard sometimes finding that like your niche to make social media work for you, you know? And that's what people got to understand. You got to make social media work for you and not work for social media. So, you know, that's just my take on it. But that is important. Like you said, I mean, once you let social media kind of run, not let it run, but like once you get on there and it starts to, you know, populate and starts to kind of, you start catching traction, you never know where it could take you. The heights are unlimited.
That's facts.
All right, fellas, I got a couple more questions for y'all. How y'all feeling? Y'all good though? Everything good?
Jeez, bro. Yeah, just waking up. It's an early morning, baby.
We get into it. Trying to wake up. But it's football Sunday. We're gonna be all right.
It is football Sunday, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, shout out to my Washington football team out there, all the fans. You know what I'm
Shout out
saying?
Chase Young, Pilates Prep. You feel
Shout
me?
out to Chase, man. Hey, man. Hey, you know what I'm saying? If you run across this, you know what I'm saying? We used to, you know, go to the same school. That was cool. That's crazy, man. That's really crazy. Wow. Damn. And I mean, bro, like he wasn't even that big in high school. You know what I'm saying? That nigga's huge.
He was a small dude in high school.
He was like, bro, what the fuck did
Yeah.
niggas be eating? Like, I'm really confused. But nah, shout out to Chase, man. Let's go get this dub against the Cardinals. Meech, who's your team? You like this?
No, I like the Giants.
Unfortunate.
I like the Giants. We good. We good money though.
Unfortunately,
Dimes, we looking good today. We going into Chirac. We be all right.
Good Lord, the Giants.
Right.
I thought the Washington football team was as worse as it could get, but the Giants is, I mean, that's down there with the Browns, man.
I kind of like the whole we let the Chase Young thing slide, but it's like, how did Pilates, y'all need something to hold sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Like he didn't go, he graduated from DeMatha, so I just be lost.
But he did go there though, you know what I'm saying? He did go there. I
feel like it's like that's where he made his living. That's where he made
for sure.
Buck, you know
for sure. You know what I'm saying? But hey, man, you know what I'm saying? We were happy to have him. You know what I'm saying?
We're happy to have him. We're happy to say that we groomed him for DeMatha.
Right, exactly.
You know? That's it.
Hey, man, pray for Saquon. Let me just end this with pray for Saquon, man. Ain't nobody blocking out there for him, man.
He got 100 yards in him tonight.
I don't know why I drafted him for fantasy. That was an awful choice.
Did you get him? Oh.
That O-line is sad.
It's 1 week.
That O-line is I saw all I needed in the 1 week. I saw it. I saw all I needed. All right, fellas, let's get back to it. So do y'all plan to partner with any local brands, you know, to expand your business? You know, what's the approach there?
So I think one brand we do want to partner with is Hand Paints at Lomax. He's a local artist around the area. He paints different bags. He makes painting right here.
Yeah.
Shout out to Hand Painted Rail, OG, Nosotros. Shout out to my dude.
Yes, sir. We'll tag him. Yes, sir. That's dope. Yeah, nah, he's fire. I really like what he got going on. Different.
Yeah, so I feel like, you know, if we can find a way to partner like a bag with times floor reality or a paint times floor reality.
We need that Telfair bag, bro. We need it.
Yo, yes.
I think you posted that. Yeah, you reposted it. That was hard. Yeah, and I mean, he's very talented, man. I mean, yeah, shout out to him. So that's dope. And you know what? That kind of brings me back to myself, at least. Like, I like to keep things inclusive, you know, and that's somebody that you know what I'm saying? That's your man. So like to keep it inclusive and then grow also, like that's dope. Like, you know, that's always good. Like even this, you know what I'm saying? Like I do a podcast, you have a brand, like let's partner together and like let's let it grow and let it do its own thing. But it's good to do these things, you know, early on too, because you know it's organic. But okay, you want to partner with him, and do you think that if you were to do it, what would be your reasoning? Would just be because you feel like, you know, his art is dope, or what's your reasoning behind partnering with him specifically, if no one else?
I mean, we definitely been following him for a while. We personally know him, so you got that there. But I think something we're really trying to tap into is that female audience. We got a lot of good female support from this first drop, but it was more catered toward males was the feedback we were getting, you know, just with the oversized look. Most females really could only get extra smalls, maybe smalls, just depending, you know, and the fit was really, they didn't know. So I think, you know, towards our next drop, we want to cater to our women, but more so, I think a bag, we want to get in that specialty item phase. You know, we don't know exactly where, but something you use on a daily basis to stand out in. Okay. These days, girls got like 20 bags. You know what I'm saying? They be in their bag with it. So if we have like, you know, a custom little joint, I think that can definitely, you know, make us stand out. So that's where we want to go next. We need that collab though.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm actually looking to partner with him on some podcast shit. But yeah, I'm gonna get at him, you know, off air, of course. But he's dope. That would be a very dope collab. I think the specialty items is a good approach too, because like you said, I mean, you know, people got to understand, man, once you get the woman audience, it's a different, you know what I'm saying, it's a different beast. That's what you really want. You know, shout out to all the niggas, you know what I'm saying? Like, of course, we rock with y'all, but like the ladies, once the ladies start, because at the end of the day, ladies sell things. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's
They
all.
They sell and they buy nonstop.
Sell and buy, you know what I'm saying?
Fashion Nova. All that
I was
shit.
literally just about to say that, bro. Fashion
They be
Nova.
spending.
I mean, Fashion Nova's got these joints just on
Well,
payroll. Like, it's unlimited. You just like, I mean, wow, what a business model, honestly. But enough of them. But I will just say, to your point, it's important to get the lady audience, you know, gravitating towards your shit. So that's a good approach right there, man. I fuck with that. Well, you know,
definitely need to shoot our shot at if we need to get a female ambassador. You know what I'm saying?
yes,
Definitely.
sir, man. Damn,
Like,
and see, like I said, you know, because niggas will just follow joints. You know, you don't know them or whatever, but I mean, they look good. You know, you just respect. You know, I see you, baby. I see you out there doing your thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna see what you wearing too. You know what I'm saying? So it's smart to get a female ambassador. Very smart.
And my whole thing is like, we don't want like this, you know, stereotypical Fashion Nova model. Like our whole thing is flawed reality. So, you know, I mean, we welcome everybody. We welcome the flawed. We welcome everybody to come be a part of this reality.
Right.
Yes.
We love everyone. So if like there was one person I could pick, I don't know, he might have someone else. Like if I'm shooting my shot right now, come work for Flawed Reality. We're gonna sponsor you. Winnie Harlow. Need you.
Yo, Winnie, get at them. You know what I'm saying? Flawed Reality. This is Subtle Impact Podcast, Subtle Impact TV.
Like
get at them.
She fits everything we looking for.
Okay. Yeah, she's got that look.
How she just owns
her flaws.
It's not even a flaw at this point. Look at how big of a star she is. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? So someone that can just embrace something, you know, a few years ago, it'd be fully covered up. You know, you would probably never see something like that. And she's herself. She's free spirited.
That's true.
It's great energy, you know.
That's
so
true.
Something like that.
How you feel about like Lizzo, if you were a partner with her? You know what I'm saying?
We would love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't want to put niggas on the hot seat. I'm thinking that you know what I'm saying? Because she owns her weight, you know, like the body. Like I know.
I was just about to say Lizzo too. So I feel like she's taking like, you know, that whole community of women who are a little bigger and helping them embrace themselves.
I see Lizzo losing weight though.
Own it.
Losing some weight too.
But the thing is, she's owning it and she's trying to be healthy at the same time.
For sure.
And I respect. You can always respect that. You know what I'm saying? You always got to respect somebody like trying to do better for themselves.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
Lizzo, Winnie Harlow, holla at Flawed Reality.
That's what I was about to say. In conclusion, Winnie Harlow and Lizzo, you know, get at the boys. You know what I'm saying? And then come on the podcast too. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk some shit. You know what I'm saying? I love that. All right. Two more questions for y'all. Let's see which one I want to do. All right. So if you could describe the brand in 2 words, how would you describe it? What 2 words would you use to describe it? It's all right, you know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna come with the first word and let me come with the other joint. I'm gonna come with
excuse me.
Upscale.
Like it. Classy.
Okay. I feel like I gotta have a word that kind of matches that now.
Right.
Upscale.
You don't want anything lesser than that. Yeah, nah. But just, you know, whatever comes to mind. Upscale is nice though. Good word.
I was gonna say unique.
Okay. So upscale and unique. 2 U's. All right. You know what I'm saying? That's dope. A reason I asked that is because I feel like when somebody asks you to describe yourself, you know, like you don't really think of yourself like that. So like, I mean, it'll throw you off. So I felt like that question was going to throw you off. So I wanted to see what y'all would say. And especially in the spur of the moment, you could tell like, all right, this is genuine. So upscale and unique is dope. I will personally say from what I've bought and seen, I would agree with those 2 things. Unique, I definitely agree. And upscale, I also agree. And that the upscale part to me is very interesting. I wouldn't say interesting. It's important because it's like the whole streetwear, high fashion that we was talking, like you could be upscale and still be streetwear, you know, at this point, you know, and it's not, to me, you don't have to separate the 2. You know, they can go one and the same in a certain sense. So, no, shout out to y'all for actually taking the time to to focus on that and make it all come to fruition. I definitely
I feel like, yeah, you're right. That definitely does throw people up because no one just sits here like, okay, what's 2 words to describe me for the next time somebody asks me?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Like if somebody asked me 2 words to describe my podcast, I wouldn't know how to describe it off rip. Yeah. So I knew that would kind of catch off guard a little bit, but that's good. I like those 2 words. Y'all actually took a little bit of time, not too much, you know what I'm saying? So it felt like, it was in the spur of the moment, but good.
What's 2 words you use to describe your podcast?
I would say, I would hate to say impactful because impact is in the word, but I would like to say impactful because I feel like any episode or any person I've had come on here, like I felt like there was a purpose. I've done artist profiles, I've done episode to promote Black businesses and bring Black awareness to everything that we got going on. I've done just fun episodes, you know what I'm saying, just talking my shit. And then I've also done tributes. I did a Nipsey episode. So, I think if you really sit down and go through my catalog, it's impactful. And then the second word I would use for it is organic. It's organic. A lot of this is, you know what I'm saying? A lot of this stuff that I do is like, I write, you know what I'm saying? I come prepared, you got to be prepared in life, but it's just, once it starts rolling, I'm just ready, and it's just it's a conversation. I've always loved conversation. So I knew that podcast for me was just like, it's therapeutic. You know what I'm saying? Like, feels like therapy to me, honestly. I like talking to people of substance. And I feel like it's organic because I don't ever talk to anybody with intention. Like, oh, like, you could benefit my podcast if you come on. Like, I try to keep it organic and just natural and trying to keep everything with good vibes, you know what I'm saying? So organic and impactful, man. I think that's how I would describe it. Good question though. All right, man, I got one more question for y'all boys. If you could tell the people listening a couple things about yourselves and the brand, what would you say?
I really think just understanding the story, how it came about. We kind of touched on it, but going back, we've known each other, since 6th, 7th grade? Yeah. So like how it was kind of built, it was built like brothers kind of built this joint up, but more so like what time it kind of came out of. It came out of, Rona. We're going to look back on Rona, and it's in the history books. And it's kind of like, it is.
It is. We're part of history.
It's like, what did you do in Rona? Like, you're going to tell your kids, you're going to tell people, and like really wanted to come out of Rona stronger, a lot of people going back, a lot of people blowing that unemployment on Birkins. They blowing it on bags. They blowing it on whatever. I don't know if you get a Birkin for unemployment, but like you can definitely get some nice stuff.
Get you a little Chanel bag. You know what I'm saying?
You can get you some nice stuff. I see people taking them flights. You know what I'm saying? So
yes, people still traveling. Like, ain't shit going on for sure.
So yeah, just to invest in yourself and follow like your passion, because like he's in dental school. I'm getting my master's right now. I'm working for Under Armour, so different part of fashion, but more sports. So kind of, you can be busy, doing a bunch of different stuff, but like if something's your dream, something's your passion, like do it. Don't just, sit back and just like wait, because it's real easy to just buy stuff, be a consumer. I was very comfortable just buying other people's clothes and putting people on, this is dope. I got so many friends that have clothing lines, and like I've been able to watch them, and they give me tips and tools, and like I'm just thinking like, dang, I know what looks good. Why don't I just, do it myself? And it's just that fear to actually, spend your own money, that fear to actually just who supports it. Because in your mind, you're thinking like, okay, how many people do I know? Okay, how many followers actually follow me and like most of my stuff? How many people do I talk to like on a daily basis, like weekly basis? Like, okay, they're going to buy, and never think like just because that someone's going to support you, shout you out, because those people don't owe you anything, So you kind of want that feedback. And I mean, it's been different. We just took that leap of faith, and so far so good. So we're going to keep running with it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
sir.
to tag off what Meech said, I think with the support, it's really surprising to hear some of the feedback. A couple people will come to you, yo, bro, what's the discount looking like? Whew, I ain't feel me. I only heard stories about it. I didn't know it was real. You know, so my
Only
thing
heard
is,
story.
you know, if you walk into a Gucci store, you're not gonna say, "Hey, Mr. Gucci store worker, what's the discount
Yeah.
today?"
Mhm.
They'll look at you stupid, like you don't deserve to be here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
They
don't
like,
come
get
to
the fuck
me
out of here.
a much lower scale and then try to denote me more.
Yep.
I almost feel like, you know, you disrespected my work to a point.
It's insulting.
You know?
Nah, honestly, that's a good point you bring up. Because now I'm about to get into my shit a little bit. Because, yeah, the thing is that, you know, I heard me say invest in yourself, and like, you know, people don't understand. Like, this is an investment. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the red in terms of like what I've bought, you know, for my brand and for my podcast, and terms of what I've made, because that's what it takes in order to get to a place of capitalization and profiting. Honestly, you have to invest. But it's very insulting when people will, if I was selling a product, you know what I'm saying? I'm not selling a product. This is more so a service, I guess. But if I was selling a product like, yo, and I have people genuinely coming to me like, yo, like, what's the discount? Da, 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 da. It's like, I mean, jokingly, that's cool, but like, you know, people are serious. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Very serious.
and it's like, people don't understand how much it costs. The cost for a business, or the cost for a service, a product, any of that. So they're automatically thinking a friendship is outweighing the cost that it took to even get to this point. So it's like, me giving you a discount doesn't really do anything, you know, not even from a financial standpoint, just off respect. Like, I'm giving you a quality product. You should pay the same price that anybody else pays. Now, of course, you have friends, you have family. When it gets to a point where it's stable, of course,
Right.
niggas can, you know what I'm saying? Niggas can look out.
They could blast, yo.
Yeah, but when I'm coming out the gate with this shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have to make back my investment before I can just start giving niggas discounts. That's how you completely ruin the whole thing from the jump. So I agree 1000%. That shit is very frustrating. I've seen one of my boys, shout out to Belry. I did an episode with him. He's a dope artist, local. He does film now, also, and he was saying, like, you know, because film, like, to film something on a high end scale, like, it costs a lot, and people will come to him and say, yeah, like, you know, you think I could do like $300 less than what it costs? And it's like, I mean, you're disrespecting me. This camera costs money. You know what I'm saying? My time is money. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of this is money. So, and I don't want to make things about money only, but it is insulting. Like, I just wanted to say that to your point. It's very insulting.
Everything isn't about money, but
it's not.
But the driving force that helps us continue this business, you know what I mean? This message going is gonna have to be the capital, right?
Right.
Exactly. And
I think it's how you come about it, you know, because we've all been, like, if you go back in the scenarios, everyone, this Mr. Discount himself right here. Mr.
Yeah,
hey, Mr.
always finding a discount, yo.
Hey, lowball man himself. I'm a negotiator, you know. So we go
Mr. Negotiator. Oh my God.
We go back and forth on him trying to find the lowest deals, and when we cop stuff, and he's like, yo, like, the person might want like $400 for it, and like, that's a good price, or $350 or something. And he was like, man, I'm gonna give him $320, and I'm like, bro, just get a man $350.
Now,
you know what I'm saying?
My thing to add to that is, like me said, he brought the flaw to this, but I brought the reality.
Okay.
I feel like between the two of us, I'm the most realistic person here.
Okay.
Right?
Very true. He's the most realistic in the group.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So from a business aspect, if I see that we could go elsewhere to get a lower price on our product, I'm gonna do that. Because that's gonna bring us back more capital and keep us funded. Now, He's on the other hand, if he sees 400, he might try to get the person 450. I don't know what's wrong with it. It's Mr. Generous over here. You know?
So like, I'm a big, you know, we've been able to work with certain people, and, you know, maybe we've gone over budget sometimes, but customer service, like, I get that feeling. You know, if you give me a good feeling, you know, and hey, you might get a tip. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Customer service is key. Customer service is key.
I don't know what's been going on with me lately, but waitresses or something like that, I've really been on it. After we took that Atlanta trip, I think that's where I locked in on good service. You know what I'm saying? if you providing good service, you're gonna get a tip. You know what I'm saying? So
seriously, man. Nah, seriously, that's a good ass point, man. I'm big on customer service too. I had a bad waitress last night, for instance, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not tipping that type of service. I'm not. I'm sorry. Like, that's not what I'm gonna do. I know some people will be like, oh, they work for tips. Well, you should at least come come correct. That's all I'm saying. Like, I don't ask for much, but if you come with a certain type of presence, or if you deliver, sure, the money's yours. But if you come so customer service is key. I can see that. But I also know Mr. Negotiator will always find a way to like get, and I honestly, like, I know two people like that in life. And I envy it a little bit because I'm not really like that. Like, I won't really negotiate too much. Like, to me, it's like, if the product or whatever, you're selling is the price, and I know that it is that price genuinely, like, I've looked at the market and this is what it's selling at. All right, cool. If you're cheating me, that's different. But, if you're trying to oversell some shit to me, that's different. But I've never been the type of dude like, oh, the food or service was bad at the restaurant. Oh, I want to speak to the manager. I never done that. I know niggas like that, and they will get food free. And I'm like, wow, like, I wish that was in me. It's just not in me. I would just be like, wow, this place is garbage. I'm never coming back. Give us a little bit of, like, your background, how, your come up.
All right, man. So music has been a part of my life just from the jump, man. Right. So I started off playing sax in like the 3rd grade. So from sax, it went from that to going to band practice every day and the beating on the drums and just the developing my love for music, man. And I actually took a music technology course as an elective in college. Introduced me to Pro Tools. And once I got onto that, it was a right point on, man. Started making my own beats. Started teaching myself how to engineer a little bit, and then it just expanded from there. Yeah. So engineering, I try to describe it in the simplest way when other people ask me this question. So what I do as a mix engineer is I'm just making your song sound as good as I can. Right. Like, I'm making the quality of the vocal sound good. I'm making the instrumental behind it. I'm making that clear. I'm giving it space. I'm making sure that everything is equal and is balanced, and it sounds good sonically in your ear. Right. There's 2 more types of engineers. There's a record engineer and there's a mastering engineer. Okay. So recording is exactly that. They're recording your vocals. They send it to the mix engineer. Boom. That mix engineer mixes it, makes it sound good. The mastering engineer, they bring your levels up without losing that quality of the mix. And they make it sound loud so it bumps in the car type thing. So I'm not a mastering engineer, but I can throw like a limiter on the master track and turn it up. That's what you got to do for the most part until it gets to the engineer. And those are the 3 types of engineering. Producers, like actual producers like Quincy Jones and Babyface. Right. They have this I guess this tick kind of. When a beat maker calls itself a producer, they kind of get angry at that because that's not really what the word producer means. I agree. Somebody who's on FL making beats, like they're making beats. They're using whatever loops they got. They're playing stuff in. They're making beats. A producer is somebody who is bringing in orchestras. They're coordinating everything. Yeah. They're bringing in sax players, they're bringing in violins, they're bringing in other vocalists to add stuff vocally to the beat. Right. They're orchestrating the entire sound of the beat, and they're creating like a whole sound. You feel me? And they'll do that for the entire album. So that's the main difference between, for me at least, for a producer and a beat maker. I think that was a great breakdown. I try to go through that as much as I can because people ask me that question all the time. Yeah, because you don't have like I said, you have avid, or not even avid, but you have just very surface level listeners. They hear good music, or sonically it sounds good, and it's like, I like that. And they might not take the time to learn the ins and outs of the actual music itself, because what you're hearing, there's so many other elements that go into it just for, it to come back to you through your phone for you to hear it. So it's like, that's why it's important to kind of understand the difference between engineers and producers. And I like the producer and beat maker difference, because there is a very vast difference between that, because you have people like Diddy, right? Who might like Exactly.
grab
Somebody else is a producer.
Right, exactly. He's gonna grab so many different people who he feels like can contribute to the song and add this and that, and like that's a producer when you're like organizing.
They're adding so many different elements. They're bringing all those people in, and they're constructing the sound of either that album or that song.
Exactly.
That's what a producer does.
Exactly, and I think that a lot of people don't know that. So that's a very good point that you touched on. But would that would segue actually into my other question for you about producing or beat making as well. Who are the people that you look up to in terms of producing and beat making?
Man, Timbaland.
Oh, Pharrell, Timbaland. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Oh my freaking
Neptunes, Pharrell.
Oh my gosh.
Dre is also in my top 5 when it comes to production.
Okay, for sure. For sure.
Noah 40 should be when it comes to production and engineering.
Yeah, his samples are crazy.
Ridiculous. Damn. Also, I'm a big fan of J. Cole and Travis Scott as like artist producers. They're two of my favorite artist producers, like who are doing both.
Would you say Kanye?
Like oh yeah, I don't know how I forgot Kanye, man. Kanye is definitely probably the best artist.
The best artist producer. Right he is.
It's ridiculous. His production ridiculous.
Yeah.
One of the best samplers.
Probably
all time.
That
made the genius musically.
Musically, bro, it is different. Like I mean, the shit that you've heard, like "Devil in a New Dress." I mean, it's just just some of the things he's put together. It's crazy.
His whole discography is ridiculous.
Yeah, beat wise, just
production wise.
Yeah, I was just about to say production wise, like it's out of this world. Like I don't really know whose production in terms of like artist producer. Like I don't know who else is really on that level. I do agree with the Travis. But when we talk about Travis, like he's such a different type of artist, like Kanye is like a rapper, you know what I mean? I would say, Travis is a rapper too, but a much more modern version of,
he's more of a melodic type of dude.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So arguing in a relationship, like, is arguing healthy? I've been trying to figure this shit out. I've had different feelings, but I think it is. I would say like now listen, I preface that with there's arguing and then there's like, you know what I'm saying? There's talk, you know what I mean? Yeah. We've all had some extra shit that just didn't need to be said, didn't need to be done, understandably. But I do think a level of disagreement is healthy.
I mean, that's how you come to the best conclusions. Like, if there's no disagreement, then it means that we're on the same page about everything. Which is
key word.
Realistic. Yeah,
which is not, in my opinion, that's not realistic. Some people might disagree, but I don't think that's realistic. Yeah, I don't agree with some of my best friends. Like, we don't agree on everything. You know what I mean? Exactly. My mother, that's a better example. Like, we don't agree on every single thing. You know, you need to disagree, like you said, to come to good conclusions. Yeah. But I was having this conversation with one of my homegirls, and she was like, we don't really argue about anything. She was talking about her and her man, and I said, well, to me, now I have to question, does one party care enough or not care? Does one party care enough or one party not care enough to go that extra mile? You know what I mean? One party cares too much and one party doesn't, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, that's the fantasy. It's like, okay, I'm in a situation, we never argue, we don't disagree on anything, we see everything eye to eye, but obviously that's not realistic. Like, life, you're always going to have things where you don't see eye to eye with somebody. You're always going to have disagreements. But I think it's important to look at the way those disagreements go.
Yes.
Because there's healthy argument and then there's unhealthy, or you could even say healthy disagreement, unhealthy disagreement.
Yes.
So
yes.
If you're having healthy disagreements, I think that's important. That's how you build an incredible relationship.
Yes.
If you stepped into the relationship and there is no type of disagreement, you got to ask yourself, sheesh, like, one party might not care.
One party might not care, and that's what I because I feel like it takes effort to argue with somebody.
Exactly.
Like, you really gotta be like, you don't argue when you're just kind of nonchalant or like, fuck it. Like you kind of want to go the extra mile.
Exactly. Like you don't, if you don't care, if you're not invested, right?
If you're not invested,
because you could look invested, but you might not actually be invested.
Ladies, and y'all gotta peep those signs. See, that happens. Look, niggas be fake invested, hey, that's for another segment. But
it's like he don't, and sometimes you just gotta peep things, because it's like, some people think that they can just get away with anything, and oh my God, so laid back, but you'll get tired of that. Like you'll be like, oh, wow, like either this guy just doesn't care, either he's not invested. You might start telling yourself something. Like there's so many ways that can go. Right. So it's not to say you wanna, have a guy mad at you or a girl mad at you all the time, but you do want to kind of know that somebody cares enough when they see something, they care enough to say something about it.
To speak out on it. And if it goes left, it goes left, but it's important to say something about it.